Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And I have just been sitting out here all day, and my allergies are like killing me, but it's such a beautiful day. I'm so confused by this weather in Indianapolis. It's like, one day it is like 95 degrees, and the next day it's like 65 degrees and raining, and then the next day it's like 80 and sunny. I'm very confused by it, and I think that my allergies are going crazy as a result of it. But anyway, I've just been sitting out here and just talking to my neighbors and enjoying my day. It's a beautiful day in Indianapolis today. So, when it's a beautiful day in Indianapolis, why not some meditations? Are you ready? I have brought out the 2 Melody Beatty books because I haven't read from them in a while. And I didn't even look to see what the meditations are in here today. Let me adjust this camera just a little bit. So I thought we'll just go in and we'll read them both, and I will do my best to make sense out of them. Which I don't think will be hard because these are my favorite meditation books of life. Okay, so let's get into The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beatty. This is actually my all-time favorite meditation book of life. Here, let's go in here to October. Let's not rush time yet. Let's go to August. I think today's the 18th. August 18th. Valuing this moment. And it's a quote from Codependent No More at the beginning. Detachment involves present moment living in the here and now. We allow life to happen instead of forcing and trying to control it. We relinquish regrets over the past and fears about the future. We make the most of each day. From Codependent No More. This moment, we are right where we need to be, right where we are meant to be. How often we waste our time and energy wishing we were somewhere else, we're doing something else, or we're someplace else. Wait. How often we waste our time and energy wishing we were someone else, we're doing something else, or we're someplace else. We may wish our present circumstances were different. We needlessly confuse ourselves and divert our energy by thinking that our present moment is a mistake. But we are right where we need to be for now. Our feelings, thoughts, circumstances, challenges, and tasks, all of it is on schedule. We spoil the beauty of the present moment by wishing for something else. Come back home to yourself. Come back home to the present moment. We will not change things by escaping or leaving the moment. We will change things by surrendering to and accepting the moment. Some moments are easier to accept than others. To trust the process, to trust all of it, without hanging on to the past or peering too far into the future, requires a great deal of faith. Surrender to the moment. If you're feeling angry, get mad. If you're setting a boundary, dive into that. If you're grieving, grieve. Get into it. Step where instinct leads. If you're waiting, wait. If you have a task, throw yourself into the work. Get into the moment. The moment is right. We are where we are, and it's okay. It is right where we're meant to be to get where we're going tomorrow, and that place will be good. It has been planned in love for us. God, help me let go of my need to be someone other than who I am today. Help me dive fully into the present moment. I will accept and surrender to my present moments, the difficult ones and the easy ones, trusting the whole process. I will stop trying to control the process. Instead, I will relax and let myself experience it. And it's a great meditation, and it's something that I've actually worked on for years and years and years, you know. There's a recovery saying, I don't know it's necessarily just isolated to recovery, but the saying is, you know, if you have one foot in yesterday and one foot in tomorrow, you poop all over today. And I love that saying, and you know, much of my past was just focused on either being so stressed about things that were going to happen in the future or excited about things that were going to happen in the future. I feel like I just talked about this yesterday or the day before on a video over here. You know, getting excited about Christmas or vacation or some holiday or spending time with friends and things like that, right? And it's almost like I would rush that to happen so quickly, and then it would happen, and then it would be over before I knew it, and I would be like, wow, like it's already over. The vacation's already over. The holiday's already over, right? Or I would stress about something that I had to do, you know, whether it was taxes, or I can remember one year I was just consumed with like having to prepare for taxes and stuff, you know, and whether it's taxes or it's, you know, a test that you're studying for, you know, schoolwork or a job thing or a family, get together or something that you don't want to do. And then it happens and you're like, well, it really wasn't that bad. Like, I stressed out over nothing, right? Or we consume ourselves, I think, or I have consumed myself at times with worrying about things that have happened in the past, And, my old sponsor used to always say to me, there's nothing you can do about spilt milk, so why continue to worry about things you can't change the things that happened in the past, right? It's how you respond to those things today. It's what you do with those things, how you learn from them, how you grow from them, right? Like how you process them. And that's what I try to do today. Talking about the taxes, I can remember years ago, I think it was the year that I came back into going to meetings. So this would have been about 10 or 11 years ago. And I can remember I got real focused on like having to prepare my taxes and getting taxes together and stuff. And I was stressed about it like every single day, right? And I remember one day I was like in the shower and I was getting ready, to go to do whatever I was going to do. And it's like, just like this thought came over me. It was like this real simple thought, right? But I was like, you're not doing your taxes today. You didn't do them yesterday. You're not doing them tomorrow. Like, don't stress out about it today. Don't ruin today over these taxes that you have to do 2 to 3 months down the road, right? Like, you'll get them done. And I did. I got them done. Everything worked out fine, whatever. And so I think that, like, in the past, I have borrowed a lot of trouble over things that, may or may not have ever happened. And another one of my sponsors, both of these sponsors passed just last year, but he would say to me, 99% of the things that we worry about never even happen, And so it's a good reminder to me to live in the present. The other thing is, since I have started, and this is just I would say just in the last 2 years probably, that I've really tried to focus just on living on my front porch or listening to an audiobook. Like, I'm really excited today just to sit out here and listen to my misfortune book and drink some coffee and, and when my neighbors walk by to say hi and whatever. Because it's a beautiful evening and I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen to like an hour or two of my misfortune cozy mystery book, right? And I'm real excited about that. And I think like when I focus on the smaller things in life, then I'm going to take a nap with Boo Radley and, laying in bed with Boo Radley and just like petting his little head, his little fuzzy head and stuff like that. When I focus on those small things and I focus on the smaller moments, like life really slows down. And I've noticed that in the last 2 years. That since I started, well, actually, I really think that it started around the time that Pee-Pee, our Chihuahua, got sick. And the vet told us that he had about like a year and a half to live. And I can remember at that time, I would take the dogs outside and be like, come on, guys, let's go inside. And then at that time, I was like, let Pee-Pee just like be out here, let all the dogs be out here and sniff around and run around and smell the grass and look at the birds as much as they want, right? Like, let's not rush it. And that was at the moment that I think I started really slowing down my life and really noticing the small things and the things that matter most. And in my life, what I realized is the things that matter most, those things that are priceless. It's like those commercials where they show like, grandpa fishing with his grandson and like having a picnic and a family gathering. And they say something about like these moments are priceless, but it's true, that spending time with people or spending time listening to a book or just taking a nap with my dog or talking to my neighbors, like those are really, or spending time with my best friend or something like that, and, I went to the casino last night with my friend Valerie and we just were laughing and had such a good time. And it's like, those moments are truly priceless, other than the money that I spent at the casino, but those moments are truly priceless. They really are, and it really slows things down for me. And I am not trying to rush this life along. The older that you get, I think when you're in your 20s and things like that, and even your early 30s, you feel like you have so much life ahead of you. By the time that you hit 50, you're like, wow, let's slow things down a little bit, Life's going a little too fast for me, okay? Before I know it, I'm going to be 60 and then 70 and then 80, and I don't know if I'll still be here, right? And when you have less life to live than you've been here, you want life to slow down. I don't need it to rush. I need to live in today and enjoy this moment. So this was a fantastic meditation to remind me of that today. So thank you, Melody Baby. All right, now let's get into Journey to the Heart, Daily Meditations on the Path to Freeing Your Soul, August 18th. Okay, throw away old messages, it says. Who told you, throw away old messages. Who told you that you were bad and wrong? Are you still letting others tell you that after all these years? Listen quietly. Whose voice do you hear telling you that? Is someone still putting you down, sabotaging your happiness, preventing you from living and moving in self-acceptance, joy, and love? Inhale and breathe in love, peace, and joy. Exhale and breathe out negative energy and negative messages. Feel them loosen, disintegrate, release. Feel your soul, mind, and heart become clear. You don't have to let others take your power or rob your joy. Don't become so accustomed to living with the pain of old negative messages that you don't notice how much they hurt. Get rid of these old messages. Pull them out of your soul just as you would pull out barbs or knives. Pull them out one by one, then toss them away. You don't have to work around the pain from these messages anymore. You don't have to figure out how to incorporate that pain into your life. Allow yourself to heal. Find new messages that empower you with love, messages that set you free. I love this meditation. But I did just remember while reading this meditation that I said I was going to read the beginning of The Soul's Companion today and do those, talk about those assignments in there. So I've got to remember that so I can do that tomorrow or the next day. You know, I think that old messages that have been programmed in our heads can be so triggering to us, right? Like those messages that we have had with us for years and years and years that we heard in childhood, you know? For me, I was surrounded by a lot of love with my parents, you know? And so even when my mom was in active addiction and things like that, I mean, I always knew that my mom loved me and whatever. You know, my dad loved me, my stepmom loved me, my aunt, uncle, my grandparents. I mean, I was just surrounded by a lot of love, you know, and things like that. And I'm grateful for that. Family members, friends, you know, my parents, and, you know, just, you know, like I said, aunts, uncles, grandparents, things like that. When I came to school and I was bullied was when those messages started being put in my head. And I can remember, like, home was always a safe place for me. But, you know, I have these memories of myself as, like, a very young kid, like, kind of before the bullying ever started. And I can remember myself just, like, putting on shows. Like, I shared in my drama video yesterday about, like, sitting in the living room and, like acting like I was auditioning for Annie, you know? And I can just remember my parents, like, never judging that or making fun of it, you know? And just, if I wanted to be Annie, I could be Annie, you know? And I can remember, like, thinking there was nothing wrong with who I was until other people told me that who I was wrong, if that makes sense. And then being made to feel different, being made to feel wrong, being made to feel, I just did a video about this on my Peter Does Stuff channel about drinking, about over being gay and things like that, feeling inadequate in my own skin, feeling like I wasn't good enough, feeling like I didn't measure up, feeling like I didn't match up to the other guys in my class, or, you know, those kinds of things. And then I think that spread into feeling like I wasn't smart enough and things like that. You know, it didn't matter what my mom or dad said to me, that, you know, they loved me and that I was good enough and I was smart and all those things. Like, none of those things really mattered, because what I really wanted was acceptance from my peer group, and I never had that. And so those messages were in my head for a very long time. You're not good enough. You never will amount to anything. You know, you can't, you won't, things like that. And I think that that really was there for a long time. You know, I talk on my other channels about this idea of this, my standing up for myself era. And it's sad, really, that I'm 51 years old and I'm finally standing up for myself for the first time in my life. I really haven't much in my life stood up for myself, you know? And in all truth, I mean, it's a realism, but in all truth, I've really let people kind of walk all over me my whole life. And I've never really stood up for myself or said anything, you know? And I think when you do, sometimes people think, well, why are you being an ass now, you know? Why are you being a bitch? That you're standing up for yourself. This isn't who I know you to be, you know? Like, why are you now being nasty about it? And I think for a long time it was because I was afraid of attention, or I was afraid of all of that. I was afraid of that. And so that was kind of one of those messages too, you know, that I was sent. Like, never stand up for yourself. Never defend yourself. You're weaker, you'll lose, they'll make it worse, it'll be worse. And I believed that, right, for a long time. And I think it's about erasing those messages. And believing that, like, as cheesy it is, like on Saturday Night Live or Mad TV or wherever that guy was like, and you're good enough, and gosh darn it, you know, all that. But that's the truth. And I've had to do a lot of that self-talk where I love myself, you know. And as corny as it sounds, as cheesy as it sounds, it really does work, you know. But not to lie to yourself. To look deep inside, you know, and say those things to yourself that other people tell you. You know, when people say to me, God, you're so funny, you know. No, I'm not. God, you're so good looking. No, I'm not. You're such a nice guy. No, I'm not. You know, I immediately go to that, no, I'm not, in my head. Either if I don't say it, I go to it in my head, right? Like my immediate is, no, I'm not good enough. I'm not what you say I am. Because it's easier for me to accept the bad than to accept the good. You know, it's like in the movie Pretty Woman. I love the scene when she's laying there and they're laying in bed and Richard Gere says to Julia Roberts something to the effect of, like, you're so beautiful. And she says, the bad stuff is easier to believe. When you're told something long enough, you start to believe it. And I think that's so true, you know. And for a very, very long time, I believed the bad stuff to be true. I believed I wasn't good enough. I don't believe that today. I believe I am well beyond good enough and deserving of love and deserving of the same things that everybody else out there is deserving of. And you are too. You are good enough. You are loving. You are to be loved. You're kind. And whatever you're going through right now, you're going to be okay. I know it might not seem like that right now, but trust me, you're going to get through this and you're going to be okay. Because you're deserving of good days ahead. And I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.